Hello friends, I hope everybody's doing good and welcome. Okay, so previously we replaced the fuel line on this 5.5 Tecumseh engine, and I always like to use premium fuel line, so I bought the fuel line from Napa, but the outer diameter here was a little too thick, because what I was trying to do was I was trying to fish the fuel line through so we didn't have to take anything apart, but it didn't work out, and I had to take the gas tank off. I had to take the shroud off. We took the flywheel off so we could gain access to the fuel line, and we ran the new fuel line in. If anybody wants to see how I did that, if you have trouble running your fuel line and you can't do it the easy way, I'll pin a link to that video in the comments. Then we had the carburetor issue. The original carburetor on it, which we're using right now, I changed all the parts over from a carburetor that I'm going to show you now that is just a complete piece of junk. And it ran and it started up on the cold start pretty good, but I didn't like the way it was running. So let me show you the carburetor the new carburetor we first started out with here. I'm going to try to get you in a position here where I can get around too. Alright, so I don't know, this carburetor, I had it laying around. I don't know when I bought it or somebody gave it to me. I don't remember, but we used this carburetor here, and I could just tell you to stay away from this brand here. What the problem with this was, the throttle return spring either came off or broke off, not worth fixing. So what I did was I took all the parts off this carburetor here and I used it on the old carburetor. And like I said, I got it to cold start pretty good, but it wasn't running right. So what I did was I ordered a carburetor. I ordered a Hipa carburetor through Amazon. I have Amazon Prime, so it came in 2 days. So the carburetor was $20.25. So we're going to open this up now and see what we ended up with here. I'm going to try to move the camera over because the tripod's right in the way here. Let's see. I think you'll be able to see what's going on there. I always pronounce it Hipa, but it's Hipa. And you could see clearly that it says Hipa on the box here. And let's see what we got here. Okay. Little cold today, but not too bad. It's February 4th. I should get my straight edge blade for this. Let me just get my straight edge blade. I'm sorry for this. I'm trying not to be too ill prepared, but I always seem to be. did a pretty good wrap-up job on this. I'll tell you that. I ordered the non-EPA Protection Agency carburetor. I'll show you why. Sometimes you can get these carburetors that way. And that, what that means is it's an adjustable carburetor. Came with a nice primer line here. I'll save all this stuff. It came with a broken fuel filter. This isn't good so far, which we have no use for anyway because it won't fit. As long as the carburetor, I hope, is not broken. This happened to be the last one they had in stock too, non-EPA. Came with a primer bulb, which we'll be keeping that. It came with a new carburetor base gasket, but I used a brand new one out of the other carburetor, so we won't be needing that, so I'll just put that in stock. And that's about it. That's about all that came with. It didn't come with any fuel line. I think somebody ransacked this box here. I don't know what we're gonna end up with. Okay, so here, hopefully you could say, here you could adjust your high-speed fuel mixture with this screw here. Usually it has the ball bolt and it has a hole going from one end out the other, and they're drilled out precisely to where you can't, you know, it's non-adjustable, but they drill it out precisely so the carburetor works and gives it the right amount of fuel into the engine. But that doesn't always work out because every one of these carburetors, especially on the Tecumseh that I've used, it's always running too lean and the machine ends up surging. Now over here, it has the low mixture screw here to adjust. I like adjustable carburetors. That's why I like the Gravely carburetors, you know. So, okay, the spring on this one, the return spring on the throttle is good. So that's pretty cool. I go by the pictures. Like they have illustrations. Like I just Googled Hipa carburetor for a Tecumseh snowblower engine, and it gave me a few different choices. Like I said, mostly were non-EPA, but I found this one, so I ordered it. I believe I used it on an Aaron's 8 horsepower Tecumseh snowblower. I used one of these. I had to adjust it a little bit, but it didn't have any surge after I got done adjusting it, so that was pretty cool. So I think what I'm going to do now is, I hope you're able to see everything all right. Yeah, I think you were able to. What I'm going to do now is I'll go over how to remove the carburetor, because that was like 2 videos ago on this machine when I removed the carburetor. And I'll just show you a couple of things that you need to know. And then once we get the carburetor off, then I can go ahead and I'll put the carburetor back on, we'll start it up, and we'll make any adjustments if need be. I should lower this tripod. Here, you know what? Let me get back to you. Okay, so to hurry things up a little bit, I already disconnected the fuel line itself there, and the primer hose, took that off. And over here you have your choke assembly linkage. As you saw, the new carburetor doesn't come with that. The best way, sometimes these are Phillips head bolts, and sometimes they're really hard to get off. So I know these will come off easy because I had them off already. I usually loosen these bolts and take them out first because, you know, the carburetor's anchored on there, and that works out a lot better for me anyway. So we'll begin by taking these off. And it's a number 2 Phillips head. Oh boy. Even though I had these off already. Oh, there it goes. I took off the chute crank because the chute crank runs up and down here and it's in the way. So I disconnected that. So one important thing to remember is not to buy that Hooier, H-O-O-I-E-R carburetor. Stay away from that for sure. And this rod just goes right up into the linkage here, which comes on the carburetor. I have to move you just a little bit here. Tripod always seems to be in a way. Okay, so you have 2 nuts and bolts to mount the carburetor to the manifold. Here, let me get this. Okay, you would use a 3/8 socket on the one side and a 3/8 socket on the inside. Same thing. And then to hold the nut on top, which we don't really have to do because I was able to spin it right off, is 7/16 wrench you'll need for that. But on the inner bolt here, the head of the bolt hits the manifold, so you can't use the socket. You can't get the socket onto the bolt. So they had enough brains to make these bolts here that have a Phillips head. You can use a Phillips head screwdriver to get the inner bolt out. This outer bolt here, you can use a socket. If you just stick your 2 fingers up here, you can grab hold of the nut. You can unscrew the nut. And then you can just pull your bolt out. Might have to loosen the other side here to get the bolt out. I just don't want the bolt to fall into Never Never Land over here. I should have loosened this one too first, but we didn't. So. I think when I was doing auto repairs, I think it was the late 70s when they started capping off the carburetor mixture adjustment screws. But there was ways around that. They made special tools and everything to get the cap off, so you could get. I think they were using Torx. Yeah, I think they were Torx adjustment screws. And back then, like, Torx was hardly even heard of. But there was ways around that. I bought the kit from Snap-on, had everything tool wise for that. Long story short, I always like to have carburetor adjustments. That's why I like the Gravely's. I can adjust the high speed mixture, the low speed mixture, and okay, so over here, it's not a Z bend, it's just like a curve. It curls in here. And if you just tilt the carburetor, like the tripod's in my way to do this, but you can get this off. Easier said than done. We got it. So what it is here is this has a curve in it, like a loop. It's not like a Z-bend. So you just tilt the carburetor and then you can get the linkage on. And you gotta watch you don't lose this piece. It's a very short piece that goes to the governor rod. And I dropped the gasket here. There's nothing wrong with this gasket because, like I said, I used the brand new gasket off the other carburetor. The other brand new junky carburetor. So, alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just reassemble this again. And we'll see how it starts up. I won't put there's a cover that goes on here. We'll leave that cover off in case we have to make any adjustments. And then I'll get back to you as soon as we get to that point. Okay, friends, it's all back together. Instead of trying to explain it to you while it was running, I did all the adjustments that needed. The only problem I had with it was on the cold start, after I put the carburetor on it, it wouldn't start, kept priming it. It started, ran for 2 seconds and stalled. And if you remember when I was telling you about that, the high speed mixture screw under here, so you could adjust the high speed. I turned it out 2 turns, and then I got it to start up, and then I made the adjustment on that, and then I brought it down to idle, and then the low speed jet screw, because that's adjustable too, not the base idle, it's the low speed mixture screw. I just had to mess with that just a very little bit, and then it seemed to run okay. So what I'm going to do now, there's no surging, which I'm very happy about, and I'll put you up on the tripod here and we'll give it a start. I usually like to do the cold starts and the adjustments on camera, but when I'm talking to you, you're not going to be able to hear what I'm saying, you know? So that's why I didn't do that. So I'm just going to make sure the gas is still turned on. I'll turn the gas back on. Okay, the gas is on. I got the tripod in the way as usual. Well, not really. I have to go around the other side to pull start it. Alright, so the gas is on. We'll give it some choke. Throttle it up. Give it a few primes. Right away when I prime it, the gas comes out. Unlike the original carburetor, we were having trouble with the cold start and I had to prime it like 12 times to get it to start. That's to make an idiot out of me. I just had it running, maybe it's flooded. I shouldn't have primed it. because I just had it running. I did all the adjustments and everything, so it didn't need to be primed. So it idles good too. When this engine was on the Craftsman, I used it quite a few times on the jobs when I used to go out plowing. I used to let the shoveler use it when we got a lot of snow. So I think I'm going to change the oil too on it. I don't know about us getting any more snow. It's not looking too good. But even if it snows, I can test this here. The reason why we can't use the snow cannon on the Gravely is because even if you hold the handlebars up, the chute tilts. But with this, all you have to do is just hold it up in the air a little bit and you can, as a matter of fact, I did use this one when we got a lot of snow to do driveways here, parking spots. So I hope you got something out of this. The best way to order the carburetor, like I said, is non-EPA. You can make all the adjustments. There's no sergeant or anything. The throttle's up real nice. I'm very happy with it. Alright, so I hope somebody got something out of this, and I hope it helps somebody out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one, and take care. I know I'm going to get questioned about the rubber band around the carburetor bowl. What happened was I ran out of tie straps, and what I did was I had to get the hose, the primer hose, away from the throttle control linkage. So it's just temporary.